Hi, Christine. Hi, Andrew. Happy Monday. Happy April Fool's Day. It's April Fool's Day.
It's April Fool's Day, but it's April.
It is April. We have a lot to celebrate. Welcome to Double Defense. We are usually an all-female New York Rangers hockey podcast. We are joined by a very, very good friend of Double Defense and a long-term friend of mine back from New York. Who also is relocated to Southern California, as all smart New Yorkers do. Andrew, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Happy to be here.
Yeah. Well, first, I want to kick off by complaining about how awful April Fool's Day is for the internet and the terrible jokes that I've seen people write about the Rangers. So this morning when I went on Twitter, somebody had posted congratulations to Heedle on his retirement. And I was like, what?
I'm missing all of this.
I mean, that might be more of a prophecy than a joke.
I know, but
no.
Don't bring that about. And then somebody else posted, now that we've confirmed that Panarin's out for 3 weeks, this is what we have to do. I'm like, what? What is happening? And then it wasn't until like an hour later, I'm like, oh, I remember what day it is. So
Twitter. Okay, that's where you go wrong. It's not going on Twitter.
Twitter's a little well, it's X now. It's a little bit evil, I have to say.
It's still Twitter. It's like Staples Center is still going to be Staples Center. Whatever you want to call it is fine. So it is what it is. I haven't seen that. I still see people complaining on Facebook. So nothing's changed there.
Well, I'll tell you, here's what I'm not going to complain about. It is April. The Rangers are in first place. We're on a 5-game win streak, and we have a bunch of fairly easy games coming up. I
would never say easy. So
there's no easy game in the NHL.
I know, especially not now. I think we're marked, so I just don't want them to be dirty. So they should be challenging, but they're teams we know, so I think we could handle them pretty well.
I hope so. Yeah. And I hope it's not. I'm nervous about the injuries now. Like after seeing that fake Panarin news, that's very panic inducing. And I'm at the point that I just want to see everyone wrapped in bubble wrap. Obviously, there is going to be a push to finish first place in the league. I don't think that they're going to slack off in any kind of way, shape, or form. But is that worth it at the expense of health? What are your thoughts on that?
It's tough because they're also fighting for seeding, and I don't think they want to play Tampa the first round. So, you got to keep winning these games, and this is not the time of the year where you want to lose a big game to either, whether it's against the team that you should be beating or against the team that you're measuring yourself up against. So, any loss, they bounce back really nicely, but also staying healthy is like super important. So I think Lobby said he was going to rest some of the guys. He's definitely rotating the fourth line in. I don't know if Rempe's playing tonight or if he's sticking with Broads. Yeah, so I don't know. Let's see what happens. Lindgren's back. Trouba's back.
We only went out.
Yeah, Gustafsson, take your time. Jones is killing it.
I don't think anyone was missing him. It's kind of what everybody wanted.
Yeah, no, I know. So, they look good. They're playing playoff style hockey. They're beating the teams that are right up there with them, and I don't think there's really anybody I'm afraid of in a 7-game series with this team. So, but knock on wood. But we see too many times. Look at last year with Boston. The team that looks the best ever technically in the regular season, and they get to the playoffs, and it's just a whole different season.
Yeah, well, look, we're not Boston. So.
No. Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying it's like it's not uncommon for the regular season team to be a completely different team in the postseason. It's just I've seen it too many times and curbing my enthusiasm, but this is definitely what you want to see so far, up until this point.
Yeah, and I think the game against the Coyotes was an interesting one. The Rangers did wind up winning 8-5, but I don't think that score really reflects how close it really got to the Coyotes making a full comeback. And they are obviously, a quite low-rated team.
That doesn't. But I don't think I want to stick with this. Just because they're low ranked doesn't mean they're not good.
I agree with you. So what happened? What do you think happened? And why was that game actually super close?
Well, the teams that are out of it, they play a little bit looser, and especially when it comes to offense. And Arizona does have a lot of really good, young, talented players. They're gonna be a pretty deep. I think they have like 13 draft picks or something like that. I heard something crazy. They're gonna be a good team at some point, And some of their younger guys, they just brought up Shane Doan's kid last week, and I think he's already got like 3 or 4 points in like 2-3 games.
And other Cooley was doing.
Yeah, Cooley, yeah.
Spells it right.
Their issue is not really offense right now; it's just defense and goaltending. So it's not a surprise to see them put up five goals, but to watch them give up 8, that's also not really surprising. Granted, a couple were open net, but you can't take any teams lightly now. And these teams that are out of it, they're playing looser, and these guys are playing for contracts for next season. So. These are still NHL caliber players. There's no such thing as an easy win.
Exactly. And I think sometimes we take these lower seeded teams for granted, thinking that we have an easier time. And we've shown in the past that that's not the case. So, and look, we're going into the next couple of weeks with, playing teams that are fighting for these playoff spots. I mean, look, it's close for us at the top. It's amazing to see it's still anybody's game. So every game, it's just like we have a little bit of a lead, and it's like 6 wins will ink it for us, kind of a thing. You just keep going. So this is now where I'm getting stressed. So I'm all caught up with you, Liz. Now the reserve is gone, and so this is where it just gets. This is the best because I think we're. With who we're playing now, they're like fighting for these spots. So I'm more concerned, again, kind of not being healthy, but these guys playing dirty and us getting hurt. So, just got to watch it. I think, there's going to be anxious moments like with, the remaining games that we have. And I think the pattern is we get a penalty, we let them score, and then we win. So, I just, I'm like, if that's the pattern, it's okay.
Over a couple of things in the middle there, but essentially we have to go down 2 goals, and then the Rangers will show up at some point. So I want to take a quick step back, and I want to get to know Andrew a little bit more.
Yeah.
Why are you a Rangers fan? What originally brought you to this team?
Sometimes you just get born into it, and I was definitely born into it. My dad's from Queens, so unfortunately, it's also why I'm a Mets fan. It's just like a painful kind of existence. Like I didn't choose to be a Mets fan, but I got born into it. So the Rangers too. It's like born in 1981. I've seen 1 Stanley Cup in my lifetime. My dad's been born in 1951. He's also seen 1 Stanley Cup in his lifetime. So it's not they've been awesome. I would say since the salary cap era, since 2006, they've put out a competitive team every year. I think they've missed the playoffs maybe 3 times, if that, something like that. So they've been a lot of fun. But my grandma used to take me to Madison Square Garden a lot when I was a little kid. We used to go to the circus, ice capades, a lot of Ranger games. So it's in my family, it's in my blood. Being a New Yorker, despite living in California, it's still in my blood. I love the fans. There's really nothing better than the sarcastic, cynical Rangers fans, but they're so well educated.
Oh, they are,
and they know everything that's going on.
Everything.
Hyper aware, of the players and the players' effort, and who do you guys think is going to win Stephen McDonald Award this year? It's a tough one. You want to say Trocheck, Panarin?
I'm going to say I think Panarin.
One of those two, because sometimes it's not always the player that puts up the biggest numbers.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's a tough one this year.
You can make a very good case for Trocheck also, because he has, he might not have the same amount of goals, but he has delivered for those guys night after night after night.
They're a different team without him.
Yeah, and all the faceoffs that he wins, like you put him in and you're controlling that play.
Yep.
Most of the time.
Yeah. Him or Brett, those would be my top 2 choices, I would say. But curious.
Christine, what do you think?
No, I have no idea, because they vote. So I don't know.
What a good problem to have, though. Like the fact that like you don't know because so many guys have contributed to making this team what it is. Like I feel like the Rangers are one of those teams that is they're greater than the sum of their parts. And I think, when you look at like the top players, like the Athletic, that article that I sent you, Christine, when they were talking about like who are the top rated players, like the Rangers barely have people that are even listed. I think Panarin was like super low down, but they don't need one giant superstar. Everyone has been contributing. Even Kreider. Even Kreider woke up in the last game. Even Mika woke up a little bit.
Who did Vegas have last year? They had a bunch of guys that nobody even who heard of Marchessault before last year. He was not a household name. They had Mark Stone, but
Well, the other thing is Vegas. They kept their guys. They don't have a lot of turnover. They don't trade a lot of their guys away. Mm-hmm. So they built up this team, and I really, really like the way they played. In fact, I think when we play a good game, I think we play a lot like I saw them play in the finals, just being consistent, keeping their eye on the prize and not worry where they kind of, distracted Florida and got them, caught up in their own, head. Yep. And that cost them everything. And so, when we play well, we play like that. And that's the way I want to see every game. And I like that. I'm actually glad we have a game every other day. And I think someone said Boston or somebody has like a break. I only have a couple games and they have big breaks. I think this every other day just prepares us for the Stanley Cup and keeps their momentum going. So I'm not disliking this schedule right now.
Well, don't forget, we had some weird breaks earlier in the season. Like the schedule was bananas.
Yeah, I think everyone had a bye week this year for whatever reason. And then we have so many back-to-backs, but everybody complains about that too. So, and then we just had 5 games in 7 days, which was insane. Yeah. So I think now it's a little bit of break. All but 2 games are at home. So I think that's it. And I think I should have my little easel so I can look at it. So I think it's a good, it's a momentum builder. It's a booster because they're going to be at home with cheering. I think there's a lot going forward just to kind of boost them up. I think one of the questions we were asked recently was like, do you think, and I'm going to ask you, Andrew, like, do you think we were challenged enough? I mean, we've had this long streak. We're still at the top, knock on wood, still in our own division and everything. We've broken our own record. Do you think that they've been challenged enough to be able to make it through the couple of rounds to get to the finals?
I mean, if you look at the teams they just beat, Colorado, they beat Boston, they beat Florida. They're beating all the top teams. Who are you afraid of? I'm going to relay that question back to you. Who are you afraid of?
I'm not afraid of anybody.
7-game series. Even if they lose to a team, I don't think they've lost to a team back-to-back times. They've been making adjustments. That comes with good coaching, which is what the team wanted to last year. That was with Gallant. And he was just kind of one-dimensional, and he didn't make adjustments. So we all saw that. They played great the first 2 games of that series, and then the Jersey had their game, and they didn't make any adjustments whatsoever. And Jersey swept them out of there. It was a joke. And then, all the player exit meetings, they all said that they wanted to be coached. They wanted a system. They wanted somebody who could coach on the fly, who could adapt and adjust. So, and I think that's what they got, and it's fitting well with this team's playing style, and I don't know, see what happens.
I know. Hey, look, in 2 weeks, from that point on, all we do is hold our breath.
Yeah,
every hockey guy we know, and we might be drinking a lot. I think I told Liz I may need a support. I may need someone to be checking on me. I'm by myself. I'm screaming way too loud. The other day, it was like 30 seconds. I think the whole puck was in our zone. I screamed the entire game. Just get it out. Just get it out. Let's go for the point. Let's do just something. And then my heart rate shoots up. And I'm like, I think I'm going to need someone to be checking on me during some of these games. And for all the game 7s and the overtimes I'm predicted. So
yeah.
When that happens, we're going to have to do some texting just so people know I'm still here. Can't wait.
Especially with, just looking at the schedule coming up, it's the Penguins tonight, the Devils, the Red Wings, the Canadiens, 2 games against the Islanders before we can call this season done. And that will be super interesting because obviously they're just sort of sitting at this cusp of, maybe by some miracle they can sneak in to that second wild card spot. So they're going to be playing really desperate.
Yeah, they've kind of fallen off in the last week. They were kind of right there, but I think they're running out of steam.
Yeah. How'd you avoid being an Islanders fan?
That'd be a question for my
son. I started off that way. Okay.
Well, it's the same way. How do I avoid being a Jets fan? I'm a Giants fan also. So I'm a Mets, Rangers, Giants. It's a rare combination of the three. Usually, it's like Jets, Islanders, Mets, which is just like the most miserable existence you could. I have friends who root for those three teams. It's like, honestly, they're kind of sad people in general. They're kind of like Eeyore. It's just like. Demeanor is to be kind of negative, and I can't blame them. They just had a life of failure, and nothing really has gone well for them. And
so I stick with one sport only.
They've invested. It's just been they have their hearts broken all year round by these three teams. It's just
I can't imagine just being a fan of like all the different sports and then having all of them losing. One is enough.
We've been very spoiled in the last couple of years with the Rangers. I have to be honest. There's been some challenging times, but this is a team that went through a rebuild. They committed to it. They were communicative with the fans about it, and here we are. It's paid off. At least it's paid off so far.
Okay. It was like a retool than a rebuild because they're like, oh, we're going to rebuild, but they trade for Panarin and Trouba. Like, nobody in a rebuild trades for Panarin and Trouba. So it was kind of like an accelerated retooling on the fly. But I mean, they've done a great job. They still have a lot of talent. Drury has not given up a first-round pick. He hasn't given up a top prospect. So
he wasn't.
Yeah,
we got things pretty smart down there. Yeah, it's that Hartford Wolfpack team is very good. I don't know if you guys have been keeping up with them, but future is bright. They're gonna have to start drafting more defensemen now. I think we're out of those down there. But Zach Jones, thank God we kept on to him.
Yeah.
He should be that sixth defenseman next year. It'll be
so. Any predictions for what we are going to see from the Rangers in the offseason? I'm not in the offseason. I'm sorry, in the playoffs.
I don't know. Like you were saying, to stay healthy. Every time they take a penalty and somebody's on the power play and they wind up for those slap shots, I'm like cringing. Like, don't block a shot. Don't hit your wrist.
Your face.
Break your. Well, you know what? Honestly, they come back from the face things. It's the
and Trocheck came back from the other location.
Fox the other night, they said he would have came back if this was the playoffs. They all come back with a shield. But, I'm worried about them breaking a wrist, breaking an ankle, these kind of things, knees, all these things that could take you out, concussions. These are the things that really worry me, the long-term things. For everybody except for Lindgren, that guy, he's got, he's like, I don't understand him. It's like a Terminator.
I know. I keep saying the more injured he gets, the better he does. So not that I want him to be any more injured. He's fine the way he is. So I think we're good. And again, like these teams we're playing to close out the season, they're dirty. I just don't like the dirtiness of some of these. So, and then in postseason, my only teams I wouldn't want that I think kind of can get dirty is Tampa Bay and Carolina.
Well, I don't want Florida. I think Florida is a very physical team. They play really dirty, and they're playoff tested. They're coming in hot after last year. They've been waiting for these playoffs to start. I don't want to deal with them until they face two other teams that kind of beats them up. Florida, Tampa would be a great first round. Let them beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
And let Boston. But I'm not scared of Boston. Boston they have like 5 less wins than us. They're coming in because they have all these overtime losses. They pick up all these loser points.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
And
every time I want them to lose,
they wind up with an extra point.
Win.
Yeah, they don't scare me in the end. I think they'll be there, but I think we can beat them. Carolina is a concern.
Yeah.
They've always.
If it comes down to goaltending, I think we got them though. So I think that's going to be the difference maker, is Igor.
So going back to Boston for a second, they did trade for Maroon, and I'm hearing that he's just coming back now. He hasn't even played for them yet since he's been traded. So, I say keep an eye on that because, I think the consensus was it didn't seem like he would be a good fit for them, but he is a good player that brings a lot of talent and a lot of cup background, too. So I might have to flip on a couple Boston games to see how he's doing and how they kind of close out the season with him in it.
I think he's got a lot of mileage on him. That guy, he played went to the Cup 3 or 4 years in a row. That's a lot of games played, and he's been looking a little slow lately. Sure, he's banged up, dinged up, plays a physical game. He's not what he was like 3 years ago. I wouldn't worry about him. There's nothing that Rimpey can't do. You know.
I know. Well,
nothing that he can't.
When do you think he's going to play again?
I don't know. You know, it's he's kind of a liability. You know, he takes penalties. He's a little slow. If he misses somebody with a big hit, he's kind of stuck behind the play, and you're brushing up, odd man. So, you know, there are pros and cons to having him, but the way Bronze has been playing, you know, and the way that line's been playing with him and Kako and
I think he's a great reserve to have. And then again, he just needs one job.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You put him in the right time, in the right lineup to send the right message. You know, if you play the Capitals and you have like a Tom Wilson, if you play Boston and you have a Maroon, and if you need his physical presence there, then you play him. But if you're playing a team like Carolina, you don't really need him. If anything, he's a detriment to you there.
Yeah, I agree.
You're going to want a team that plays well positionally, and you're going to need to score some goals against them. So, I don't think you'll see Rempe in a matchup like that. But against a physical team, Florida, I think you'll see him against Boston. I think you'll see him against, I don't know, maybe Washington. It depends who they get the first round. Philly, maybe.
Just for fun.
Yeah. I mean, he gets the crowd pumped, if anything. He's definitely a momentum shifter.
Absolutely. And Laviolette, I think, used him so effectively. I mean, ever since the stadium series, like that, it was brilliant. He came in, he did the job he needed to do. He got the fans back into it, and it set them on this course that has,
he's already top. King of merch, too. So you gotta keep him around for a bit. From everything I've seen, it's been great. He's got some great phrases, a lot of merch. I think I can't wait to go count how many Rempe shirts I see next time I'm at Madison Square Garden.
I sent Liz a link today. Apparently, he autographed a picture of Bastion bloodied up against the boards.
I saw that.
People were not very happy with him about that, but it's hilarious.
It's beautiful. I think it's beautiful.
We're usually the ones bleeding against the boards. So
So I want to ask a couple of hard questions now.
Oh, my favorite.
My first question. Why will the Rangers lose in the first round of the playoffs? And I'm asking this because I think if we can investigate why they're going to lose, and I'm sure that they do this, what can they do to help combat that thing? So why are we losing in the first round of the playoffs this year?
You want to take that, Christine?
Oh, you want me to go first? Because I don't really think that negative kind of thing. It's really hard. But if we take a hypothetical situation.
All hypothetical, of course.
Well.
I have my list. I have my list right here. It is long.
It's because we're turning the puck over. And
it's stupid. It's stupid penalties. It's too many men on the ice calls. It's dumb. It's dumb penalties is my number one.
So you got to go with so whatever my thing that I've seen that I don't like, and what they need to do is score. Okay, so I've seen our goalies bashed way too much for getting scored on, but what I have noticed is an increase in the defensiveness of the other teams just when we get in the offensive zone. So we need to break through that right away and be able to get the shots off goal, kind of be like a Colorado Avalanche, like they take the shots, be like McKinnon, take the shots and get in there and kind of break through that defense, in the offensive zone so that we can get these opportunities. They've done a lot to shift over. That was one of my biggest complaints with Kreider and Mika kind of being in the same spot. I kind of in a way like how they're all taking these slap shots, going down on the knee and getting that momentum going. And that's kind of working as long as they're not in the circle. so take that, take the opportunities and break through. I've seen that consistently with all the teams we've been playing, that they've kind of, I feel like, I don't know if they have our number and marking us up when it comes to us when we get into the offensive zone on our side. So that's what I think might cost us if we can't kind of break through that going through the playoffs.
I think comes down, your big horse has got to perform. And what happened last year, and honestly, what worries me 2 years ago is Panarin. The guy's putting up 100 points. He's the reason we are where we are right now, but he tends to do a disappearing act in the postseason because his style requires open ice to make these plays, and he's dipsy-doodling. He takes his time. So supposedly, he's definitely made some adjustments this year. He's been a shoot first kind of player, which he needs to be. But I think we've seen it in a couple of the games against Florida and against Colorado. Some of these teams that play physical, they've been kind of shutting them down. So I think Panarin and Zibanejad, especially, those two are going to make her, and Igor. There's your three wild cards right there. If they play top of the game, they're going to go far. If they do not perform and Igor gives up those floaties like he did against the Panthers at the end of that one game, and if he doesn't show up, and if Zibanejad and Panarin don't show up, they're not going to go too far.
Okay, I'll make it an easier one. Why are we winning the first round?
I just think they're a better top to bottom team than most teams, and they've been playing playoff style hockey. They're very deep. They got 4 lines you could roll through. They got 3 sets of D, and again, your biggest advantage is in goal.
Yeah, I agree with that. I just think we're also just more versatile. I mean, we've got more players that have equal ice time and kind of can do everything. So the fact that we can all score and we all do. I always praise our multi-point and multiplayer point games, and I think that's like one of our biggest assets compared to some of these other teams that highlight their top players only.
Yeah,
I totally get them an award at the end of the year, So,
do you think we're going to see a lot of Quick in the playoffs?
Oh no, only if injury emergency, or if Igor's having a bad game and they pull him, that happens. But I don't think Quick is going to start a game in the playoffs unless there is an injury.
Yeah, I kind of knew that. That's why I'm like 400 is so close for him. So close.
Listen, that's why they gave him that contract for next year. So,
although, just a tack on that question, with the 8 games that remain, how often do you think they're going to play Quick? And they want to rest. They want to rest Shesterkin, but they want to keep him going. I mean, that's going to be interesting to watch.
Minimum of 2 more times. I think you could see him anywhere between 2 to 4 times, depending on how, if they're winning or not. But I don't know. It doesn't worry me when he's in. He's been amazing.
Yeah. For backup, he's.
Yeah, I mean, preseason
incredibly well.
He was done. He had a horrible preseason. It was like he's gonna have a quick tenure here. Mm-hmm.
So, look, when he scored, when he broke the record, it was so exciting. I think I even missed a milestone in my collage because so many things happened in this game the other day that I couldn't even keep up. I get 300 goals for Kreider, 300 points for Adam Fox. Him breaking a record, and it was so cute because the Kings jumped on right away and put it out there. I love, and this is, I don't know, I think this is developed into something where I like seeing these old teams now we start seeing when the traded players go back to their home ground, their home team and their home ice, they're honoring them. We never saw that 5-10 years ago, and so it's fun to see. They still have fans in these places, and I like the way the Kings did that right away and kind of put out a big thing for him. So it's very exciting. And we always have great, goalies. I mean, look, when we played Colorado, I still love Georgiev. I'm like, you can win because he's got a great record going on for them too. And I'm like, just not tonight, And so, and he seems to have it. I don't know if you watched, but when he lost that game, he was really mad. I think.
He was salty. You could tell.
I was at
the Rangers real bad. I mean, he's extra incentive against the Rangers.
Oh, I know. I mean, I was there. I was in Madison Square Garden when he came back after his trade. He played the first game, and they won. They won in overtime, and he you could just see him and he's like, I did it. And that's the kind of like thing I like seeing. And I like watching him play like that too. So, so anyway, it was, the Kings did a nice thing and that was really good to see. So I think we've got 2 great goalies. We got a great, team going in there. Everybody's back, with the exception of Hedel. And
who's not retiring, by the way.
He's not retiring. He's very active and and I think he kind of puts out quotes and good wishes and is still, kind of active on social media with things. So keep it going. He's still part of this team and they'll take him all the way, So that'll be good too. And maybe he'll be spotted in the crowd during playoffs. Be nice to see.
Be nice. Okay, next question. Who are the Rangers losing to in the Stanley Cup Finals? In the West, we have a few teams that have clinched playoff spots. That is Dallas, Colorado, Vancouver. Very close is Winnipeg, Edmonton, the Golden Knights. And then in the wild card, it is looking very likely it's going to be Nashville and the Kings. So who are the Rangers losing to in the Stanley Cup Finals?
Well, these are dumb. Like, I don't like the way you're phrasing the question. I mean, if the question,
I know, I'm doing it just to annoy you.
Best is going to be in the finals, okay, everybody. So today on April Fool's Day, by the way, that's what I've seen on Facebook is everybody's like making finals predictions, Well, you heard it here first today. So I am going to say not the Oilers because they're not going to make it. Someone's going to take them out.
I have to say, after watching that Rangers-Winnipeg game, I thought it was a really interesting matchup. I thought Winnipeg played a really good game. They have an incredible goalie. I could easily see them. I mean, they're not in first place, but I could easily see them blowing past some of the other West Coast teams.
They're a scary team. Another team top to bottom, and the goalie again. He's probably going to win the Vezina this year. It's best goalie in the season so far. Colorado worries me too, especially to get Landeskog back. I don't know if he's supposed to come back, but like everybody forgets that they have like a world-class, possibly top 10 player in the NHL just injured who hasn't played a year and a half and might just come back. And it's like to the lineup they already have. So yeah, they really worry me.
Colorado, I agree. You know what else? Because they cry about everything.
Yeah, and
your guy did not get points every single game the entire season. Get over it. Challenging and reaching. I've never.
They appealed it. Yeah.
Here, man.
I don't know if the league made a decision on that yet, but I know that they appealed.
I know. I was
McKinnon not getting the assist on Lindgren's own goal.
Yeah.
So, no, and then I was watching part of another game, and they were comparing other plays, and so the announcers were. So it's like, let it go. So, you guys, those teams that challenge everything. Brind'Amour's like that, like they challenge everything, they look at everything, they just go for it all, and they get crazy calls like we got nailed on, which was not right. So I liked how we got called for goalie interference and cost Kreider his 300th goal, even though he got the 300th goal on his 301st goal, and got to keep the puck. I'm hoping it's the same puck. But did you see him throw it?
Yeah. I was going to say, that was one of my favorite parts of the entire season. I watched it play like 18 times.
It be a meme.
It should be a meme. Absolutely.
And then when we played Boston a couple days ago, they literally were on top of us scoring a goal. So
goaltender interference is the biggest load of nonsense because there is no consistency with what that call actually is.
So to tag on there, if we lose, it's going to be because of some dumb stuff like that, some bad calls, and some refs. Got to watch the refs, and hopefully we got some clean games. I think Dallas is right there, like a point behind us. Like they're just some of these teams that creep up.
That's another team you need to worry about in the finals.
Yeah, Dallas. I mean, Dallas and Colorado.
They're stacked. The thing I'm hoping for is last year the East was stacked. They had Boston, they had the Rangers, all these teams. So, but by time the Panthers got out of the East, they Chuck is playing with like a fucking broken sternum, and they're all just banged up, beat up. So the Western Conference came in, just bitch slapped them, and Vegas came right in and took care of them. So I'm kind of hoping the reverse happens because the West is so stacked this year with so many really good teams. They're really if you look at the standings, they're right on top of each other. You put any of these teams in a seven. I don't want to play any of them in a 7-game series, and they're all going to have to play each other before they get to the East. And I'm hoping they all just beat the shit out of each other. that by the time they get to the finals, they're kind of out of gas and they're banged up, and it's the only thing you kind of root for. But that I'm going to be watching every single game in that Western Conference playoffs this year. It's just every game is going to be wild.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, one more question. How is Ryan Lindgren's NHL career going to end? What is going to be the thing? Because so far they've thrown a lot. It'll be something so stupid. He'll get a hangnail, it'll get infected, and then he'll have his arm amputated.
That's all I'm going with. He's going to stub his toe in the shower.
I think he's going to have a Dan Girardi career. Girardi played until the wheels fell off, and they're kind of the same guy. And they're constantly getting hurt. They're constantly patching themselves back up and come right back at it. Fantastic defensive defenseman, sturdy, stable, reliable. And Girardi played for about 10 years or so, maybe a little bit more. So I think he's going to have something similar to that. And he didn't. It wasn't just one injury that kind of took him out. I think he went to Tampa for one season or something like that. It just. Everything was just falling apart on him. It's just Lindgren will be the same thing. He's going to ride it until the wheels fall off, and that'll be that. And Larry Brooks' article. Larry Brooks' article today was all about his Lindgren contract extension, and it's going to be coming up this summer. He's going to be a restricted free agent, but next year he'll be unrestricted. So you got to give him a long-term deal. So how many years are they going to give him? How much do you want to invest in this guy? But you can't let him walk, and the guy's heart and soul. So. It's always an interesting conversation when it comes to Lindgren.
Yeah, I just love seeing him progressively get more and more beat up as the season goes on. But as you said, Christine, he keeps coming back stronger than ever. It's that knee injury, when they showed it in slow motion, I literally had to cover my eyes because of how messed up an angle that was. I was like, he's done. It has to be done.
I think everybody thought this was the one. This is the one that's going to knock him out of the season. It's going to happen. But
that one, to be honest, I didn't think it was as bad as we thought it was. And we were kind of after
your knee's not supposed to go in that direction.
Well, there was that other player on the other team that had a similar injury just a couple days before that, and that was terrifying. So it didn't look as bad as that. And then I think I'd heard
the Blake Wheeler and the Sergachev injuries. And they were similar. Sergachev was the defenseman you were talking about. That was the guy in Tampa that got hurt against the Rangers, and then it happened to Blake Wheeler.
Oh yeah. It's a contest. I didn't even remember. Everything was so fast. Everything kept happening.
I know. I forgot that's even the season, but yeah, it was literally the same injury. He fell back on it, and anytime the leg is hanging on, getting escorted off the ice, it's that does not look good. And Lindgren's leg was definitely hanging. It was like.
But I heard someone had said that they'd seen Trocheck walking with him or something. So that, whatever I'd heard. Was on Twitter, and it wasn't April Fool's, so it seemed more encouraging. So that was a good thing. But the better thing is that he came back sooner than he was expected to, and before Trouba. So that look, everybody's back now. We just go forward. I think if we just got to really watch these next 8 games, and I think once we make it through with no one getting injured on anything. Then I think we've got a really good run.
Yeah, so. I think staying healthy, obviously, it's the number one priority. But I would also want to keep seeing Roslovic work with that line with the Wonder Twins, and they've been pretty good, but I think they could be better. So I would like to see them keep going. They're definitely trending upwards. Mika's been scoring more. Kreider's been scoring more. Roslovic has been right in there. I would like to see him score a little bit more. I think he's only had 1 goal or something like that since he's joined. And Gitzel's, I think, got 15 points already on Carolina. Man, what could have been? What could have been? I'd be curious to see what they offered for him, because supposedly they offered a pretty hefty package and Pittsburgh declined it. And they got back from Carolina nothing crazy. They didn't even get back any of their top 5 prospects. It was wild. And they were asking for Hoffman and Perreault, and all these guys were untouchable.
Because they were going to want that draft pick.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Rangers would have started with the first round draft pick, but they wanted first round draft pick and probably Kakko and Hoffman or Perreault or both. This is insane. These are pieces that you don't touch. They're cornerstone blue chip prospect. You don't trade them for anybody not named McDavid.
I still think out of Boston, Carolina, and the Panthers with the big trades they did, I think I called 2 of them going out in the first round. So I'll be close. There's one of them's at least going.
Let's hope so. That'd be nice.
Yeah. I do. Like, because sometimes when you go big, you know, it's a little over the top, and then you kind of goes to your head. So.
And you affect the chemistry. You know, you bring in a big personality that's been playing in a different system for so long, and you only have like a couple of weeks to really mesh with you and to pick up to what you guys have been doing. It's not as easy as it sounds.
Yeah, look at Kane. I mean, that had a lot of promise. And
well, I mean, that was an injury. The guy's hip was falling off, and they knew that, and everybody knew that. It was like the worst kept secret, which is why they got him for like a dirt price of nothing. But you know,
but he also chases. See, that's what I was saying. It's like I think he's chasing things where he thinks he's got these opportunities to get a puck instead of in a what's the word? You know, in a superficial kind of way. You know, so and I think it's going to cost them. So that's why I think they're going to lose. So
Detroit might not even make it. So. We'll see about that.
Yeah, this is going to get really close.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, everybody, thank you, Andrew, so much for joining us. Thank you for answering the hard questions. Christine, I'm sorry I made you angry with the hard questions, but we have to face reality.
I need to go do some incense here.
You can cleanse the space. You can cleanse the space, but we have to be grounding here on Double Defense. We're bringing it to you real.
Yikes.
Watch this space, guys, because we will continue to keep you posted on all things Rangers. We will give you our opinions, whether you like them or not. And I think we're in for a really exciting next couple of weeks, and really next couple of months, because I forgot how long the playoffs are. They really we are still like months away.
You hope they're long. Last year lasted what, like a week and a half?
Yes, with all the overtimes I predicted, it's going to go on till August. So
we're going to at least be hanging in June. That's the plan.
It's all good. So everybody go enjoy your Dunkin' Donuts bagel, egg, and cheese beer.
Yes.
Oh yeah, all the happy. I saw like spaghetti beer on my feed today. I was like,
some of the things I saw for today as jokes. There was a glitter beer, which I'm all about.
No thanks.
Spaghetti beer.
No thanks. All right, thanks.
Okay. Thank God April Fool's Day is
only
one day a year,
and we survived it mostly. Let's see how this game against the Penguins goes, though. All right, guys. Thank you.
Have a great night.
Honor and